All right, Ashley, I want to talk to you about an introduction the president made while he was overseas, where he introduced the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and his daughter, Ivanka Trump, to a gathering of U.S. troops. Let's listen together.
Come up, Mike. And you know who else I have? Has anyone ever heard of Ivanka? All right, come up, Ivanka. Come on. She's going to steal the show. She'll steal it. What a beautiful couple. Mike, Beauty and the Beast, Mike.
Ashley, you've covered a lot of unusual things at the White House, a lot of weird things. That was a little bit weird.
Sure. I mean, sort of the Beauty and the Beast on the one hand, it's a weird way to refer to your daughter. At the same time, it's kind of a Trumpian flourish. I think the more stark thing was that the president was elevating his daughter, who is a senior White House advisor, but sort of onto the same footing as the Secretary of State. And this entire trip was notable for the ways in which Ivanka was intentionally elevated, was front and center, was, playing a role in some ways almost of the First Lady that a First Lady would traditionally play. Being in conversations with world leaders, being in the meeting with the North Koreans. And this is the president, making a very clear decision to do this intentionally, deliberately. It's sending a signal to the world that if you're a foreign government and you want to deal with the president in this White House, maybe the best way is not through the National Security Advisor or the Secretary of State, but it's through the president's children and most notably his daughter.
And it's an interesting message. And by the way, we saw, as some of these pictures have indicated, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner in prominent roles this weekend. She was caught in a conversation which has now made itself, it's been shared around the internet several times because it sort of illustrated what Ashley's talking about, the first daughter implying herself into various important global discussions. Let's watch that.
As soon as you start talking about the economic aspect of it, though, a lot of people start listening who wouldn't otherwise listen.
And the same with the defense side of it, in terms of the whole sort of business. It's been very male-dominated. So.
Again, unusual, Annie, that Ivanka Trump seems perhaps a little bit out of her depth in some of these conversations, and these world leaders are sort of struggling to figure out what you do with her.
The body language in that clip is really interesting to watch. You see Lagarde not making eye contact with her while she's speaking. They look like they're being polite because it's the president's daughter who he's elevated. But also it seems awkward in that they don't know, she's a family member. She's a White House advisor. Is she a diplomat? What is her actual job? It's still a question that remains unclear 2.5 years into the administration. One thing I've noticed about this generated a lot of criticism because it looks like Ivanka's trying to insert herself into a place where she has no place with world leaders. And one thing I've noticed about the criticism of her is that at the beginning of this administration, when there was hope that Ivanka and Jared were the secret liberal saviors of the world, the progressive and liberals started to brand her as, quote unquote, complicit when it turned out that she wasn't really changing the president's views on things. She didn't get him to stay in the Paris Accord and other things. She didn't seem to have any overt influence on him. So she was, quote unquote, complicit. Now the hashtag that was trending after this weekend was unwanted Ivanka, which was poking fun at her for trying to insert herself into situations where she has no place. And it sort of signifies to me that how her role, people just assume she's all in for Trump and now just dislike her because they think she has no right to be there and hasn't earned her place. But it's interesting to see how the criticism of her has shifted over the past 2.5 years.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.